Alright everyone, it is now the 4th of July. Yay, we get explosions and I get to go shoot the gun off like all afternoon. That'll be fun. Triggering people who are no guns mode, I suppose. I wanted to weigh in though because Trump, of course, is having his extravaganza in DC. There's going to be hours of nonstop red, white, and blue fireworks. He's got like tanks and stuff like that. It's sort of military staging. Can I just point something out? It is a farce when people are claiming that it's inappropriate for Trump to politicize the event. The idea of rolling tanks around in D.C. being politicized. My goodness, we've had military parades all along. Somebody had an article this morning like, oh, Washington would hate Trump's military addition to the 4th of July celebrations. No, he wouldn't. Wouldn't have any fucking problem with it. The idea of mustering people, having a parade or something, of course it's an organized instead of the disorganized militia when you're talking about the U.S. military. Yes, I'm sure General Washington, who was battle-hardened for years and years at a time, I'm sure that he would have a problem with understanding that now the United States had military capabilities. No, I don't think so. The thing that would piss him off is the fact that we have a standing military as opposed to letting private citizens keep their tank at their local armory. That's what would piss him off. You shouldn't talk about... the liberals of all people should not be talking about what would piss the founders off. Your idea of gun control would piss them off a lot. Your idea of having tech censorship would definitely fucking piss them off. Facebook selling your data to foreign countries, even though it's taxpayer subsidized, a la the state of California, which in turn gets a lot of federal money. Yes, they'd be pissed off at many things. This would not be one of them. By the way, have we ever had a non-politicized 4th of July in modern history? No. The idea that it's inappropriate for Trump to make a speech. Oh my God, he's gonna say fucking every politician on the 4th. What do? Especially in the social media era. Oh, my thoughts and prayers, the United States, God bless America, blah, blah, blah. The Republicans, they say, God bless America, we're one nation under God, and they always put it all in caps. What do the liberals do? Oh, this 4th of July, let us celebrate our great nation. We can be greater if we pass this new tax. We can be greater if we remember the words of some, long-forgotten figure from the Revolution who said something about wanting to give welfare to orphans or something like that. They always do this. It's always been politicized. The fact is that Trump is the larger-than-life president who's going to give an extravaganza speech with tanks and fucking explosions overhead, and he's going to do it, and the optics of it go well with him. And so a lot of the news services, the legacy media, they're not even going to give coverage to it. I think it's, which was it? ABC, CNN, NBC, CNBC, a lot of these groups at CBS have decided not to air Trump's speech. Like, they're going to give the Independence Day coverage, but they're not going to... I guess they're not going to cover, like, the fireworks or anything either. So, people will be tuned in. So what they've done is they've got a weird situation where if people want to watch the speech, they're going to do one of two things. They're going to watch Fox and they're going to watch a YouTube feed. That's what they're going to do. Good! I think that that's a wonderful thing because the legacy media needs to dry up and die anyway. I just wish that Fox would come out and say that they weren't going to televise it so they could fucking die off and dry up and roll off like a tumbleweed too. I think it would be an excellent thing. I think the best thing for this country is if these big cable networks didn't exist at all. Because they're a bunch of monopolistic assholes that lie to people all the time. Look, it's definitely newsworthy. All sorts of people want to tune in. They have fundamentally made a decision that they're not even going to report on something that's newsworthy simply because they believe that they won't like the message that's said. They don't even know what Trump's going to say. It'd be very funny if it were the least political message he'd ever given, and he just talks about forgiveness and togetherness and the generic sort of patriotism stuff, so that then they get fucked in the ass royally. That would be really funny. In fact, Trump should do that last minute. His speechwriter should scrub anything that could be even remotely seen as political out of it. Just give a very, very cut and dry speech, a Gettysburg Address moment, something short and sweet, and then have the fireworks going off so that these big big legacy media venues can fuck themselves. That would be wonderful. Not that I think that'll happen, but that's what should happen. By the way, the idea of it not being political and stuff like that. Did have you ever heard the Star-Spangled Banner? Have you ever, actually heard that? The bombs bursting in air and so forth. What do you think that refers to? It refers to, you do realize that the reason that we set off fireworks specifically is to emulate battle, right? like the sounds of battle. Back then they were using black, but they weren't using like modern gunpowder and weapons and stuff. The fireworks a la the modern period are not markedly different from the rockets with the red glare that the British were actually physically using at certain battles back during the Revolutionary War. They were attempting to weaponize basically what amount to fireworks. I believe that the way that they would work is the back part wasn't filled as much. Like with fireworks, normally you fire them like straight up. I believe they like half filled them so that they would fire forward and then they would drop off, so they had like an arced trajectory to try to fire them over walls and stuff. I think that's what they used to do. They didn't really work. I think the British abandoned it within a couple of decades or refined it or something. But that's literally the rockets and bombs bursting in air that it's referring to. It's referring to battle. How is it inappropriate for Trump to say, oh, well, you know, we used to fight with these, basically, fucking fireworks, a little more than that. Now we've got these, haha, Abrams tanks and cool shit like that. By the way, do you think of my children, when you were a little kid, when you saw tanks and stuff, wasn't it fucking cool? Oh wow, a real live tank. Oh wow, an aircraft carrier. Oh wow, cannons and stuff. It's fucking cool. Will you get over yourself? These self-righteous pinheads here just can't understand the idea of having a good time. Tanks are cool. Yeah, yes. An Abrams tank is a very, very cool piece of machinery. Very expensive, too. Some little kid's not going to say, wow, little Jimmy saw the tank, now he's wearing a MAGA hat. No. It'd be funny if that were the case. I mean, he looks at his lame-ass social justice warrior parents, maybe, and he says, well, you know, there's a better way. But, I mean, tanks are just awesome anyway. It's funny, it comes from the same crowd that thinks that you shouldn't be able to own a revolver that could have been made 100 years ago, but, you know, let that be as it is. No, Trump's not doing anything wrong. Presidents make speeches on patriotic days. Oh my God, it's a terrible thing. No, the reason is because it's Trump. So they're, number one, assuming that he's going to politicize it, which isn't even clear. We're not sure what he's going to say at his speech. And that's why everyone in the country will be tuned in. It'll be almost like a moment of silence. The whole world's going to be watching it practically. Now, the YouTube streams involved, can you imagine how many people are going to be tuned into those? So hopefully there's people there that are live broadcasting it, that are independent actually in nature, like, you know, right-wing broadcasting or something like that. Because I don't like Fox. I don't like Fox anymore, and I like these other moron networks, so I'm not going to watch the Fox live broadcast either. No thanks. I think I'd rather save the brain cells that I've got left, so it's not going to happen. Trump's not doing anything wrong. Oh my God, what's political? What if he talks about, well, we need to defend our nation? How's that political? No, that sort of harkens to the very concept of independence now, doesn't it? It's funny, on this Independence Day, Cory Booker walking migrants across the border. It's hilarious to see the left grandstanding, and they think that these are winning issues that they're actually endearing themselves to voting citizens on. I have a feeling that they're completely fucking wrong, but again, that's just me. Don't take my fucking word for it. No, Trump's doing just fine. It's perfectly fine to have a celebration on the 4th of July. You know, a lot of Americans, their idea of Independence Day is they stuff down a bunch of hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff, and they don't even really comprehend the meaning of the day itself in a larger sense. So what the fuck is wrong with the President of the United States making a speech and deciding to pump more money into the fireworks to make it a longer celebration? I think that's a cool thing. Fireworks are cool. Explosions are cool. Guns are cool. Tanks are great. I wish that they would take nuclear weapons and parade them down Pennsylvania Avenue. I want to see them too. Yes, I would love it if Trump delved into his own deep pockets, right? Gets like a fucking $100 million. He says, I'm going to put on the celebration to end all celebrations. You know, these Chinese New Year celebrations you see in Beijing ain't going to have nothing on the Trump celebration. And he just has the whole fucking U.S. military march down the street practically. That's what I wish he would do. You know, like 5 hours of nonstop marching, 10 hours, like 2 days of nonstop celebrations. Free food and everything. Like all of D.C. turns out 500,000 people on the mall crammed in eating like weird shit. Eating probably catered by McDonald's because it's Donald Trump. So I wonder if he does. I wonder if he like gives McDonald's basically free advertising because it has Donald in the name. I'm wondering if that may actually be like a subconscious reason for that. Possible. Who knows? I don't have any problem with it. I wouldn't have. By the way, if Obama had done the same thing, I wouldn't have had a problem with that either. Yeah, have some tanks in the mall and stuff. It's fucking 4th of July. People are setting off explosives all day. Get over it. That's about all. Peace out.